Coming up, a downtown Iowa City business faces some unwanted changes.
And a local restaurant celebrates a big milestone.
I'm live from Extreme Arena, where a former Hawk is back in action.
A gorgeous week of sun, all of your full forecast in weather.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Wednesday, May 7th. I'm Johnny Valtman.
And I'm Grace Lathrop.
And Grace, let me just be the first to say this weather has been phenomenal. I've been going on walks. Nice to see the leaves coming back. You know, I'm enjoying this weather.
Yeah, me too. The landscape on the campus has been so pretty lately with the green grass and the flowers. But let's send it out to Avery Evans to get the full rundown for today's weather.
Thanks, guys. I'm here downtown where it is currently 62 degrees outside. Taking a look out on the Pentecrest, it looks like we can expect to see some afternoon showers, but it will reach a temp of a high in the low 80s. Tonight will be a chilly one as temps drop down to the 40s. Heading into tomorrow, it looks to be in the low 70s with a few clouds, but we can still expect to see some sunny skies. These next couple days will be perfect for studying outside or taking a nice walk. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Avery. And recently, the Iowa City Arts hotspot film scene has been hit with some rocky roads.
That's right, Johnny, and we're going to send it over to DITV's Liz Schultz, who is live outside of film scene with updates on this change.
Thanks, Grace. Film scene in Iowa City has just lost $30,000 in funding after the Trump administration moved to cut its funding. This change has raised concern among organizations across the state. The $30,000 grant would have helped Film Scene run events like its outdoor movie series and film festivals. Now, that support is unavailable. It has been cut several months early as part of the federal move. Film Scene says the decision threatens not just them, but other arts programs across Iowa. Groups like the Des Moines Metro Opera and Civic Center also lost its grants. The Trump administration wants to eliminate the National Endowment of the Arts altogether, despite polls showing many Americans oppose these cuts. Film Scene says that they are not giving up yet. They are asking any and all supporters and donors to show up and speak out to lawmakers. Despite lack of these fundings, they say that the show must go on. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Liz. And the next part on the underage drinking in Iowa City continues from Monday. And this time we're going to be taking a look from the perspective of law enforcement with Hannah Lipsky.
Fake IDs today can pass every test at the door.
With the scanner, that's what covers us, because they had an ID that says they're 21. They are just manipulating us to let them in, is what it is.
The job now is up to law enforcement. Iowa City police officers conduct bar checks every weekend, and they have the right to go up to anyone who looks underage and ask for their ID. And if they're under the legal age or have a fake ID, they can be escorted out and written a ticket. But that's not always the case.
Sometimes we just tell people to go home. Hey, you shouldn't be doing this. We're going to take your fake ID. We're going to take your wristband, and you need to call it a night.
Common citations given out are possession of alcohol under 21, being in a bar underage past 10 p.m., and possession of a fictitious ID. And Iowa City police have been combating this issue for decades and have made some major changes.
Today, we see policing different. It's not just enforcement, it's policing.
The main problem, the easy access to fake IDs.
Officers and nightclub security agree that fakes are good and they're getting better. And at times, it's impossible to tell the difference between a fake and a real ID.
I got to see some fake IDs, and a few of them I could tell were phony, but some others looked identical to my real ID. And the police department has boxes with hundreds in them waiting to be destroyed. And the problem is just too big to eliminate completely.
I can't catch them all. I'm not going to get worked up about it, but that's generally how that works.
This Friday on DITV.
Those repercussions that are seen by the first responders, they stick with you for your life.
Thanks, Hannah. And don't forget to tune in on Friday to see the final part of this series. And the Iowa City Council met yesterday to discuss renovations and the creation of affordable housing in Iowa City. The council discussed a proposal to develop a 5-acre site between North Dodge and North Governor Street. If approved, the city would destroy a vacant office building and 2 single-family homes to construct an 84-unit apartment building.
Talking about staff look into traffic control, or what's our authority there, it being a state highway and everything, and sidewalk talk, you know, just getting some solid numbers other than like it'll be hard and it'll be expensive.
The proposal has faced opposition from local residents concerned about the size of the development and the potential traffic increase. A protest petition was signed from local property owners, meaning that 6 of the 7 council members must vote in favor for redevelopment to pass.
And going statewide, the Iowa politicians are struggling to make some big decisions, leading to big roadblocks within the state.
That's right, and that's why we have DITV's Linda Locco live in the newsroom to discuss what's going on.
Thanks, guys. The Iowa House session is lowering their spending budget. The House is considering raising property taxes to address the current inflation rates. Hotel tax income has been impacted by this change and forces cities like Des Moines to reconsider their financial commitments. As a result, nonprofit organizations such as Bravo Greater Des Moines and Catch Des Moines are facing budget cuts, and each are losing around $800,000 a year. New agreements will take these developments into account and could change up the state's landscape. Debates over taking land and carbon pipelines have heated up in the Iowa session as it continues in overtime. Until changes take effect to stop the use of public land and carbon pipeline projects, 12 Republican senators are refusing to endorse the state budget. Since these pipelines are privately held, supporters claim that they do not meet the Fifth Amendment's public use requirement. Advocates argue that most impacted owners have agreed that these pipelines are important for the ethanol business. With the rise of fentanyl deaths, Iowa lawmakers are considering some legislative actions. As the bill passed in the House, these aims to sentence individuals who deliver, dispense, or provide fentanyl to life in prison, which results in the death of a person. The bill makes a distribution of fentanyl leading to death of a first-degree murder charge with a Class A felony to Iowa punishable by life in prison to no parole or early release. The bill is currently at standstill, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
And Jimmy Jack's Rib Shack is celebrating their 20th anniversary of making barbecue for the people here in Iowa City. Even after 20 years, their mission remains the same: provide their customers with the best possible food service.
But we also go more in vein to like Kansas City in the Midwest for the ribs, and then we go down to Texas, which is more well known for brisket, and we try to follow their techniques to get the best brisket.
To celebrate this big milestone, they plan on hosting some festivities that will include food, drinks, and music.
We're going to be having a party here of the week of July 14th, kind of moving through the week with a big final party on the 18th.
After making some recent business moves like going on to DoorDash, they see this party as a toast for years to come. And Grace, barbecue, it goes really good with this weather, and I'm hoping maybe, to get out to the grill this weekend and, fire up some meats.
Yeah, me too. It's a great time to get outside, cook outdoors, eat outside, and for now we'll send it back to Avery to make sure that the weather is looking sunny for the entire week ahead.
The rest of the week looks beautiful, so let's dive straight into these upcoming forecasts. Friday, it looks to be partly cloudy, but we can expect to see highs in the mid-70s. As we head into the weekend, Saturday looks to be a pleasant temperature of 83 degrees. Sunday will continue with the sunny weather in the 80s, making a wonderful weekend for plenty of outdoor activities. On Monday, it will be mostly sunny, but as of right now, looks to be our warmest day of the week with highs in the mid-80s. Finally, on Tuesday, we'll have partly cloudy skies, but the trend of 80-degree weather will continue. I'm excited to bring out my summer wardrobe this week and maybe get in a summer tan this weekend. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Avery. And summer tans can come in a lot of different ways. Personally, for me, I like to swim, and I get tan that way.
Yeah, me too. Lots of fun activities to do outside, sports. I've seen a lot of people playing volleyball in the Pentacrest lately because of the weather. But speaking of sports, let's send it to Colin to give the full rundown in Hawkeye athletics.
Well, Grace, you mentioned all the outdoors sports you can participate in. That's my favorite part about this time of the year is I can watch all those outdoor sports. But we have DITV's Brady Barron live at Extreme Arena, and well, they host indoor sports, and as far as I'm concerned, volleyball and gymnastics season is over. So Brady, what are you doing all the way out there?
Well, Colin, you're not wrong. The Hawks don't currently have anything going on in Extreme Arena, but the action that takes place behind me is still fast and physical, and there is a former Hawk getting in on the fun. Jordan Cotton played in Kinnick Stadium from 2009 to 2014 as a wide receiver and kick returner, and now he's back in the black and gold, this time in Extreme Arena.
And I'm going to keep on playing this game until, you know, my body says I can't play anymore.
After his time with the Hawkeyes, Cotton chased his NFL dreams, settling down with the Cedar Rapids Titans. He'd end up earning himself a tryout with the New York Giants, but before he could make the trip out to New York, he tore his Achilles. That was over 10 years ago, and it effectively ended his career, until a simple Facebook message in early March brought him back.
I messaged him like, hey, what's up, buddy? He's like, you still got some juice left in the tank?
And I said, I've been having the itch lately, so I said I might. So I just came out here about a month and a half ago to give it a shot.
At 34 years old, Cotton's not chasing his NFL dreams anymore. Instead, he's focusing on helping those players currently grinding it out in the arena football scene.
Brings a lot of maturity to the team as well, in that leadership role that, you know, some of these teams are hard to find.
I played at every single level there is in football, and so just being able to give back to these guys and being able to play again has been awesome.
In his return to the field, he's been able to have friends and family come out to watch him play football, and even some of the high school players he coaches have made the trip to Coralville to watch him in action.
I let them know at practice everything that Coach Cotton still has a little bit.
And for the Chaos, having a former Hawkeye on the team has sparked the budding fan base.
You should see when his name is called during the intros how the place erupts.
Jordan Cotton and the Chaos will return to Extreme Arena, or as they call it, the Asylum, on May 17th for their inaugural season finale. Back to you, Colin.
Well, thanks, Brady, but it's also a big spot. With 3 games to go in the Big Ten season, Iowa baseball is in position to win the conference for the first time in 35 years. DITV's Ryan Paris spoke to 2 of the stars about the bond they share.
The Iowa baseball team has gelled to become one of the biggest surprises of the Big Ten this year. But Gable Mitchell and Kate Obermueller, the stars of the team, have a connection that goes back long before this season.
Our dads put together here, and then have just had a relationship ever since, and so from as long as I can remember, I've been friends with them.
Growing up in Iowa City, from T-ball to Little League to high school, Mitchell and Obermueller have played together for the majority of their lives.
Yeah, our families are like family, basically, yeah. Yeah, that's how I describe it, as like a brother.
And that friendship has manifested itself in results on the field as Iowa currently leads the Big Ten with under 2 weeks to go in the season.
Going into the season after losing key pieces like star pitcher Brody Brecht and third baseman Raider Tello, Iowa was outside the top 6 in the Big Ten preseason poll. But from March to April, the Hawks rattled off 10 Big Ten wins in a row to take the top spot in the conference and haven't looked back from there.
We have this saying called 40 dudes having fun. It's just really brought us close together because that is kind of the motto of his team.
Both players have lived up to their preseason players to watch billing, as Mitchell currently leads the team in batting average, while Obermueller holds the second lowest ERA in the Big Ten and leads the conference in strikeouts. Obermueller came back to Iowa after being drafted by the Texas Rangers last season, but both he and Mitchell figure to be in the conversations this summer.
As we approach the end of the season and the Big Ten tournament starting on May 20th, the Hawks are going to continue to fall back on the bonds that the team is built upon. From Dwayne Banks Field, Ryan Paris, DITV Sports.
Well, Iowa softball begins their Big Ten tournament run this morning against Penn State. And right here, we're looking at what could be the top half of the bracket here in a moment. Iowa coming in at 6 in the Big Ten. They're going to be playing Penn State, and they swept them in a series earlier this year, 3-0. And, well, if they advance to the second round, they'll be playing Nebraska, and that's going to be a more difficult series for them. They lost 2-1 earlier this year, and they were outscored 1-26 in the first 2 games of that series. Expect to see a lot of Iowa's Jalen Adams in the circle this week as she led the Big Ten in innings pitched in complete games. But former Hawkeye point guard and 3-time NBA champion B.J. Armstrong is now working in an NBA front office. Armstrong was hired as the assistant general manager of the Sacramento Kings Tuesday afternoon. The 13-year NBA vet started alongside Michael Jordan and on the Chicago Bulls in the early 90s and helped the Hawkeyes to the Elite Eight in 1987. Armstrong now joins his close friend Scott Perry in the Kings front office. To look about what's going on with some current Hawkeyes and really some past Hawkeyes, well, way further back there with B.J. Armstrong, but Jordan Cotton, a little bit more recent for some of our Iowa fans.
Yeah, indeed, Colin. And I know myself and even Brady out there, we are huge, Michael Jordan fans and Bulls fans. So great to see B.J. getting in the front office.
Yeah, it's all great and really great things happening here in Iowa City. But guys, summer is right around the corner, and I'm hoping to get outdoors and go to some other places this summer instead of just Iowa City.
Yeah, Grayson, with school almost over, I'm hoping to travel as much as I can.
For all of the adventurers out there, today is National Travel and Tourism Day. It is celebrated as part of the National Travel and Tourism Week, which takes place the first week of May every calendar year. About 1.5 billion tourists traveled worldwide last year.
That's a lot of people, Grace, and I've been to New Orleans and Dallas, and so we'd like to thank you for joining us online or listening on KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
For all of us here, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on Friday morning right here on DITV.
And that will be our final show of the semester. But before that, remember to stay tuned after the break for DITV's political segment, The Update.
Stories occur every day, and here at DITV, we've got you covered with up-to-date news and politics.
Former President Donald Trump won the Iowa caucus.
And we are anxiously waiting for those votes for not only the national election, but here in District 1.
Keeping highlights and scores with Hawkeye Sports.
The All-American walk-on brought that punt return down this sideline and into this end zone.
Iowa looks to boost their overall placement and their way into the semis.
And of course, all the latest in entertainment.
Sit back, relax, and here's the word on the street.
I'm here at the Alan McVeigh Theater where a unique performance.
Here at DITV, we've got a crew bringing you all the stories from across the nation and right here in your backyard.
From Washington, D.C. and Nashville, Tennessee.
From downtown Iowa City.
From Carver Hawkeye Arena.
And bringing all the coverage straight to you live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Around the University of Iowa and Iowa City community, we have the stories that matter to you here at DITV.
Coming up, requirements for flying tighten.
President Trump meets with Canada's new Prime Minister.
Speaker of the House Mike Johnson keeps a positive outlook.
From the White House, covering the actions of the administration and how they are running our country. From the nation's capital, where Iowa lawmakers' work impacts the nation. From Iowa, where politicians determine what direction to take Iowa in. DITV's The Update is keeping you up to date with all the latest nationwide and statewide news and politics.
Sorry, folks, and welcome to The Update, your home for national news and politics.
From the White House, our nation's capital, and all over the country, we're keeping you up to date. I'm Kayla Smith.
And I'm Johnny Vollman. And Kayla, so much going on in the world. It's nice to be back. Final update of the semester. So we got a lot to get into. And to start off, Kayla, you got some national headlines for us.
Yes, I do. So the Real ID deadline is finally upon us after years of delay. Starting today, Real IDs will be used at TSA when flying domestically. Originally, the change meant you wouldn't be able to fly without a Real ID or other form of TSA-approved identification on even domestic flights. But the head of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, confirmed otherwise on Tuesday.
And what will happen tomorrow is folks will come through the line and they will issue their ID and show it. If it's not compliant, they may be diverted to a different line, have an extra step, but people will be allowed to fly.
A Real ID is a federally compliant, state-issued license or ID card that takes more documentation to get than a typical license. Now, the Real ID law passed in 2005 and was meant to start in 2008, but state holdouts in the COVID-19 pandemic pushed the implementation back. Now, keeping with that flying theme, one of the nation's busiest air hubs has been experiencing some cancellation and delays. Newark Airport, the 13th busiest airport in the country, is cutting 35 flights from its daily schedule. The airport is also expecting some arriving flights to experience an average of 4-hour delays. The delays and cuts are being traced back to air traffic controllers losing communication with flights on April 28th. Afterwards, at least 5 Federal Aviation Administration employees took a 45-day governmental leave due to a traumatic work experience. Now, since the issue, Newark has reduced traffic as a precaution. Now, Johnny, you know, if you have any plans this summer, just make sure you're aware of all the stuff happening in the flight world right now.
Yeah, a lot going on. I just flew down to Louisville last week, and so a lot going on there. And now we're going to be flying over to Washington, D.C. for an update with the White House. And so to kick it off, President Donald Trump welcomed Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, to the White House yesterday. Carney came to discuss the impact Trump's tariffs would have on Canada and the United States. While the tariffs took up the majority of the talk, the two also discussed the possibility about Canada becoming the 51st state.
Would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
The owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
The two kept the talk friendly as trade talks now shift over to China, which is next up on the White House's agenda about the economy. And now, Kayla, I'm not sure if you've seen movies like The Rock or Escape from Alcatraz, but President Donald Trump, he's thinking about re-implementing a famous prison. The president is floating the idea of reopening the Alcatraz prison off the coast of San Francisco. The prison was closed in 1963 and is known for its brutal conditions inside. Its purpose, per the White House, is to house illegal immigrants who enter the country illegally, staying consistent with Trump's constant image of making America strong.
And I want them to stay in our prisons as long as possible. I have no desire to send them back to Mexico because they were coming across our border illegally. No longer will they be able to do that.
Stiff opposition came from both sides of the aisle, and to this point, no offer has been brought forward. And there is so much going on, Kayla. I mean, I feel bad. I think Izzy does this every week, and so much to go over. And so we're just going to get into some bullet points of other things that happened just in the past couple of days. These are some of the most recent cuts. The Department of Education, they are going to be cutting $1 billion for mental health resources for public schools. And just as a reminder, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Now we're going to be looking over at energy. The Energy Star program, which has been open since 1992, is getting planned on being cut. And now this service alerts people of eco-friendly appliances that they can use. Also, 2 Environmental Protection Agency branches, the EPA, will be cut back on. As of now, we don't know how many EPA jobs will be cut. Also, new federal research grants at Columbia are going to be suspended because of the Trump administration going back and forth with some of those Ivy League schools. Also, 180 positions at Columbia will be cut. At Harvard, those new federal research grants are being cut. And then at the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth, he said 20% of 4-star generals have to be let go of in the Pentagon. General officers and the National Guard are also expected to be scaled back by 20%. And general and flag officers across the military by 10%. Currently, there are 900 of those type of officers. And as you can see, Kayla, so much going on. I gotta catch my breath after that one.
Yeah, I know. There's always so much happening in just DC in general. So it's a really great thing that we have Ryan Lynch here with us to give us an update on somewhere else in Washington, D.C.
Yes, guys. And Speaker of the House Mike Johnson has been questioned on various aspects of policy for the Trump administration. And Johnson defended the president's stance on tariffs as a way to help the economy in the long run.
Whatever short-term disruption there is or discomfort, I think what he's trying to say there, I think, is that it will well pay off in the long run. And I think that will happen sooner than many people anticipate.
The administration is aiming to pass a bill in the House for spending cuts, tax breaks, and other issues that align with the president's goals. The bill will be a collection of bills drafted in multiple committees in the chamber. The House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform aims to save money with cuts to federal employee pensions. The bill is experiencing some delays, but Speaker Johnson is confident with a deadline. He said that the bill is on track to be passed by Memorial Day.
Pass that by Memorial Day. That was our original time frame, and some of the people in this room balked and thought that would be impossible. But stop doubting us. We're going to get this job done. Okay.
And in the other chamber of Congress, the Senate voted to confirm a Trump appointee. Frank Bisignano was confirmed to head the Social Security Administration. Senators voted along party lines with a 53-47 vote. Democratic senators were concerned about Bisignano for the position, citing contact with the Department of Government Efficiency. Former employees of the Social Security Administration say that the issues arise from the involvement of Doge. And I'll send things back over to Johnny and Kayla.
Thank you, Ryan. And Congress, it's been so busy as they're still trying to get a budget passed. I mean, I know I procrastinate with my schoolwork, and sometimes it feels like Congress is doing the same with this budget.
Oh yeah, it's just, there's so much happening in DC, it just seems like it's hard to get all that work done.
Yes, and so we're going to actually be going across the world. We were talking about traveling and flying earlier. We're going to be going around the world here. We're going to send it over to Izzy there, who has what's going on around the world and wars.
Just across the ocean, numerous attacks have been made and international tension is at an all-time high. Last night into early this morning, India lit up the sky as it fired missiles into Pakistani regions. This resulted in 8 deaths while leaving 35 others wounded. The strike comes after an ongoing conflict between Pakistan and India. Earlier last month, 26 Indian tourists were killed, and they blamed Pakistan for this attack. Pakistan denies this, and just this morning, officials have met and were given the green light to fight back. Pakistan! Shifting things over to the war in Gaza, Israel made 2 separate attacks on Palestinian refugee camps last night. The first one destroyed was a school where 22 people died, 7 of which are children. Hours later, the second attack came to a camp just north of the school and killed 9 more people. With food and medical supplies cut off by Israel, Palestinians are scrambling to get help. Meanwhile, in Yemen, Israel attacked their main international airport and shut it down completely. This comes after Yemen continued to destroy Israeli ships in the Mediterranean. The United States has been attacking Yemen in hopes to get them to stop, and they finally agreed.
We will stop the bombings, and they have capitulated.
It is unclear whether Yemen intends on keeping this ceasefire, as they have addressed how they stand to support Palestine. Many nearby countries are begging for peace, but Pakistan is calling what India did an act of war. Pakistan officials have met this morning and have given the green light to fight back. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Izzy. And yeah, Kayla, a lot going on in the foreign affairs. India and Pakistan, I was surprised to see that pop up on my phone yesterday. And of course, Izzy didn't mention it, but Israel is planning on occupying the Gaza Strip coming in the near future.
Yeah. And, just so much happening foreign-wise. I'm really just wondering what's going to happen with the future with all of those wars and everything just happening around the world right now.
Yes, Kayla, and so much is going on. Of course, since this is the last show of the semester, we won't be covering this stuff over the summer, but we will be keeping an eye on it for when they come back in the fall. But here are some things to take a look out for the future. Of course, we were just talking about the wars, the escalation between India and Pakistan. It'll be interesting to see if that will be another war we see. Also, peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. They have hit some bumpy roads. They've been talking about it a lot, but still nothing solidified yet about even a ceasefire. So we'll have to see about that. And of course, Israel and the Gaza Strip against Hamas. A lot going on there. Also, we got to talk about the economy with all the tariffs. I mean, it's like a crazy wave on the West Coast. The economy is going good and then it's dipping down. It's going good, dipping down. And so just to see if the economy works. And Kayla, once again, we're talking about the budget.
Yeah, and I know that here in Iowa, the Iowa Senate is currently working on their budget. So it's definitely something hard just to get out there and get done.
Yeah, and also the Trump administration. We've already seen the first member drop back, Mike Waltz. He dropped out of his cabinet position. And I mean, every presidential administration sees that. And so it'll be an interesting summer with those tariff talks, with other things going on. If anyone else will step back, of course, Pete Hegseth, the phone scandal, we're going to see if he faces any repercussions for that. So the Trump administration, also something. But the biggest thing, I think too, Kayla, pushing the midterms even a year out.
You always just got to be on top of it. Make sure you're, staying up to date is the big thing. Making sure you're ready for those midterm elections when they do come up, because they really sneak up on you.
Yes, they really do. And of course, that will be in November of 2026. I'll be long gone, but you guys will still be here.
I know, and we'll miss you a lot. I mean, you'll be down in Louisville, Kentucky covering that. So, you'll be keeping your feet in the water.
A little bit. And that'll be about it.
Yeah, that'll be about it. Yeah. So thank you for tuning into the update this morning, where you'll find all your news and politics.
This will be the last update of this semester, and of course me, but be sure to stay tuned in for the fall for the return of the update.
From the update, I'm Kayla Smith.
And I'm Johnny Valtman. Thank you so much for watching. I created the update last year. It's been wonderful having everybody on, keeping everyone up to date, covering the caucus, covering the election. It has been a blessing to keep you folks up to date. I'd like to thank my mom and dad as well. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.